This program is brought to you by realestate.com.au, Australia's #1 address in property. With more properties for sale than anywhere else, we make it easier.
Thanks for being with us here on Business Weekend. We spoke earlier about inflation and also the pressure on the Reserve Bank to keep on raising interest rates. And one key piece of evidence for this is the ongoing robustness in our housing markets. Now, despite 12 interest rate rises, those markets simply show no signs of cooling down. Indeed, REA Group shows that some suburbs have doubled in price in the past 2 years, even in the face of interest rates going up. It almost defies logic, but to make sense of it, I'm joined by economist from REA Group, Anne Flaherty. Anne, many thanks for your time as always. So I just want to examine this. Because to me, when interest rates rise, anything that produces a yield goes down in price. But the opposite's been happening, and especially of late, hasn't it?
Yes, look, this was a big surprise. You would not have anticipated that after so many interest rate rises, we would still be seeing property prices rise. But I think it really speaks to that undersupply of properties in Australia, the fact that there's still very strong demand out there, but there just isn't enough homes to meet that demand.
So then there's another aspect, that not enough homes to meet the demand, but there's two other things that go on. Number one, the number of people who have multiple homes or families that have multiple homes is now higher than it's ever been in Australia. So when you look around some of these regions where prices have accelerated very rapidly, is it characterised by that or just simply population moving in and increasing demand?
Look, it's definitely both. We absolutely are seeing faster property price rises in those areas where populations are growing stronger, particularly in those peripheral regions of urban areas. At the same time, though, a lot of those lifestyle regions have also seen very strong price rises from people buying those second homes, those holiday homes. I just want to add, it's important to remember that interest rates don't impact everyone equally. There are a lot of homeowners out there who are sitting on enormous equity with no mortgage. So they're in a very strong position to make a purchase for second property. So I think that's also part of the story of why we're continuing to see price rises despite higher interest rates.
And that's attractive to many people because as the yields on those properties rise, you've seen some decrease in some areas of the capital values, the prices of them, but you've seen increases in the income you can generate as a result of the rental shortage. And so that's where it makes it attractive for some people to simply lock up a bit of cash with a bit of debt and say, I'll leave it there for the next 10 or 15 years.
That's right. And, the forecasts are that the rental shortage isn't going to go anywhere anytime soon. Our population is growing faster than ever. People need somewhere to live. New migrants are typically renters. So there's every expectation that rent rises are going to continue to grow, which is going to help to support yields as well.
OK, so then there's one other aspect here, which is actually the population movement. Because where the population goes, and South East Queensland has always been the hallmark of this in Australia, but where population goes to is generally where the prices move fastest and where you get the most transactions. Do you see this from the research that you're conducting now?
Yes, we do see that, and this was particularly obvious during the pandemic. We saw an enormous number of people, particularly from New South Wales and Victoria, move up north to Queensland, and those areas that were growing the fastest were seeing the most rapid rises in property prices.
So that's going to happen. That's going to always happen. So there's a few things, a few dynamics going here. There's the people with the money and the equity buying second, third, fourth properties, perhaps in that case. New migrants coming in, putting pressure on the capital cities simply by weight of supply and demand. And then on top of that, you've got some people being spat out of the cities simply because they're becoming unaffordable to them, who are going into regional areas and putting the price pressures there.
That's exactly right, and it's actually very concerning. When you look at the whole of metropolitan Melbourne, metropolitan Sydney, we actually see these, the missing middle, we call it, where we've got a lot of houses typically, that maybe only have, two people in them, and families, those homes that have more people in them, actually are being pushed further and further out. So we're actually seeing more people per house in the far outer areas compared to the middle rings, which is not great for the dynamism of a suburb, really.
I've got to tell you, it's really fascinating stuff. We'll keep watching this because it really is about the flow of population, and really that also leads to the movement in the property prices as well. Anne Flaherty from the REA Group, many thanks for your time today.
Thank you.